Hello fellow fighters, this is Jordan from Team Eternal Hope, here with my Sanctuary Guard Dragon deck profile. This is the deck profile I entered into a tournament just Saturday just gone, placing second. I beat Dark Irregulars round 1, Angel Feather, Nubatama and Brawlers, losing to Angel Feather and Link Joker. I don't currently have 4 Sanctuary Guard Dragons. I was borrowing 2 off a friend for the day. So for this day, the replacement Sanctuary Guard Dragons are just the backs of a card. So, get straight into the deck profile. As you saw, my star is Jumpcall. A lot of people tend to play Shining Knight Milius over Jumpcall, but I personally like Jumpcall over Milius. If you don't know what Jumpcall does Generation Break 1 if you have 2 or more other grade 1 or less rear guards, and this unit is in the front row. He gains 5k and intercept. So basically, if you have him plus 3 other grade 1 or lowers on the board, he's hitting for 22k by himself if you've stridden into Regalia, however you pronounce it. He's just a really good one. I mean, people say like Milius is better because you call it behind the Vanguard, it gives your Vanguard a boost, but you don't really need to worry about that. I mean, sure, you're calling another card from your hand to replace Jumpcall, but you're discarding a card for Sanctuary Guard Dragon anyway, which is then going to be the booster, which is 9 times out of 10 going to be the Limit Break Remover. So it doesn't really matter. Besides, Shining Knight Milius uses a Counter Blast, which is what you want to use for your grade 2s. So onto the grade 4s. Like I say, we have four Sanctuary Guard Dragon. Like I said, I only have the 2 at the minute. These 2 are Sanctuary Guard Dragons, so I was borrowing them off a friend. If you don't know what Sanctuary Guard Dragon is, he's Limit Break 4. During your turn, this unit gains 3k for each of your grade 1 or less Royal Paladins on the rear guard. So he gains 3k for every one of your boosters, including Jumpcall if he's in the front row. When he's placed on rear guard, when he's placed on Vanguard, you can discard a card to then call a grade 1. So say you're on 2 damage, you'll discard a card to then call the Limit Break Remover, which will then allow you to use his Limit Break 4 skill to gain 3k. That's an additional 3k plus the 7k from his booster, which is the Limit Break Remover, which is he's hitting for 21k. Then you have the boost, then you have the 3k from Jumpcall and any other grade 1s you've called, which is going to be at least 26k. So he's hitting for at least 2 boundaries, meaning your opponent's going to have to guard for 20k, which is just a 1 to pass. So he hits for big numbers, which is basically all this deck does. For the last of the grade 3s, we run 3 Sanctuary Guard Goronetti, however you pronounce that. It's basically only in here for another Sanctuary Guard Dragon, and it's a grade 3, so you can discard it for Stride and whatnot. But what he does is Generation Break 1. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, it gains 3k for each one of your grade 1 or less rear guards until end of battle. Counter Blast 1, he gains 3k. The Counter Blast 1 is probably not good, but I actually kind of like it. It actually hit a lot of boundaries for me over the weekend, because I found myself calling this guy to the rear guard quite a bit. The plus 3k actually helps hit some boundaries and stuff. Sure, it's a Counter Blast, and you don't really want to be doing that, but if it's help hitting another boundary, getting another card out of your opponent's hand, you don't really matter. Onto the grade 2s, we run 3 Knight of Twin Sword. I only run 3, because I only have 3. If I had a 4th, I probably still would only run 3. 3 seems like the perfect number to me. I mean, I saw this guy a lot. What he does is Generation Break 1, Counter Blast 1. If this unit attacks a Vanguard and it is boosted, search your deck for a grade 2. So what you want to be doing this with guy, you want to basically be calling the next guy I'm about to show you. Or you want to be, say, calling another one of the grade 2s. Basically, you want to be calling, like, what this deck does is it makes big attacks multiple times. So, and he's one of your main key pieces. The other grade 2 I was talking about is this guy, Sage of Salvation Benon. You wouldn't really play him in any other deck other than this, mainly because Regalia gives him the boost he needs. But what he does is he Counter Blast 1 when he's placed on rear guard, search your deck for a unit with 6k. So you're going to be calling your grade 1s, which in turn gives Sanctuary Guard Dragon an additional 3k, and if you're stridden, it gives your entire front row an additional 3k. The only problem with him is it does have to be in the same column, but that's not really a problem because he's given himself a 6k boost. or 9k if you include the boost from Regalia if you're Stridden. 2, Night of Fragrance. He's in here because he hits big numbers by himself. He's 11k GB1. GB1 during your turn, if you have 2 or more grade 2s in the rear guard, this unit gains plus 2k. So he's an 11k attacker by himself. And when he hits, you countercharge 1 and Soul Blast 1. It's a passive ability, so if you do hit and you have no damage to unflip, you still do have to soul charge. So, but there's not really a problem with that because it helps with, say, like your grade 1s and whatnot. And like I said, he's an 11k, so he hits for big numbers by himself. I run 2 Transmigration Night Breed, or whatever his name is. Basically, he's Generation Break 1, gain 3k when he attacks. He's just a 12k attacker, but obviously with the boosters and whatnot, he's gaining 9k, making him 21. So he's just in there for big numbers. Like I said, this deck hits big numbers and multiple times in one turn. Last of the grade 2s, we have the 1 Blaster Blade Spirit. This card actually came in handy a lot over the weekend. When it's placed on rearguard from deck, you counterblast 1, retire a unit which is grade 2 or higher in your opponent's front row. At the end of the turn that he is attacked, retire him. So if your opponent attacks him, say with a 5k rearguard, he retires at the end of that battle. But basically you just intersect with him before that, so you get use out of him. And he's a 10k, grade 2. So he's a good card to ride if it comes down to it. Onto the grade 1s, we have 4 Holy Knight Guardian. This is the damage on flip a perfect guard if you have another one in the bin, counter charge, you know, standard stuff really. We have 3 Jewel Knight Savor Me. Only run the 3, you don't really need any more. 3 seems like a perfect amount. I was running 4 in here before the tournament, but then I cut it down to 3 for my tech, which you will see in a minute. We run 3 Battle Song Angel. Now this card is actually really good. I actually really like Battle Song Angel in this deck. What it does is, it's Generation Break 1. If you have 2 or more other grade 1s or less, this card gains plus 2k. And while it's on Vanguard, Rearguard or Guardian Circle, it gains Resist. So basically it can't be locked. It can't be retired with any of the D-Police guys in the Rearguard Circle. So if it's guarding and your opponent's playing D-Police and they get a grade 3, they can't retire this. It's just a really nice card because it's a 9k booster, and it also gives, if you're straight into Regalia, it gives your entire front row an additional 3k. So say you've got Twin Sword, it's gaining 9k from him, which Twin Sword is 9k himself, which is 18. Plus he's gaining 3k, which is 21. So that's also hitting a boundary on non-cross-ridden Vanguards. We have 2 Laurel Knight Sisyphus. I was going to run a 3, but I felt 2 was more than enough, because if you need to stride fight it, you've got the second grade 3, or you could just discard another Sanctuary Guard Dragon for it. You probably could run 3 of these, but I honestly wouldn't run more than 3. 2 seems like a perfect amount. So you run 2 Hidden Sage Mirren. She's a 6k target. She's 6k, so she's a target for Benon. But what she does is Soul Blast 1 when she's called from deck, draw a card. So she's your draw power in the deck. I am tempted to boost this up to 3, but I'll see what happens once I get the rest of the Sanctuary Guard Dragons needed for the deck. Now my tech, we have the 1 Starlight Unicorn. You're probably thinking, like, why would you run this thing? It's a 6k. When it's placed on rearguard, choose another one of your Royal Paladins and give it 2k. It's a nice little tech. It won me quite a few games over the weekend. Just the 2k boost helped me hit extra boundaries and whatnot. And like Benon hits for an extra 2k. Like if you have him plus Regalia, he's like 3k, whatnot, blah blah blah, 18, 21, and whatnot. So it's a really good card. If you play Sanctuary Guard Dragon, I highly recommend giving him a try, because it's a really old card and it's actually really useful. Onto the triggers, we run 6 crit. I would run 8, but I got a little tech in here which I like to run, so 6 crit. 4 draw into your combo pieces. Now if you've like counted up like 6 crit, 4 draw, obviously you can only have 4 heal, so you can probably guess what my next trigger is going to be. We have 2 Encourage Angel. Now I know you're probably thinking, why are you running stands? This stand's really good, and especially with Sanctuary Guard Dragon. What she does is Generation Rank 1, when she's placed on rear guard, choose up to 2 of your other units and have those units gain 3k. If you do, return this unit to your deck. She run me so many games over the weekend. Just the 2 stand triggers alone, I wouldn't run any more than 2. I wouldn't run 1. 2 is the perfect number. Like I said, with the Starlight Unicorn, I highly recommend giving these a try. Basically, you call her, give 2 units 3k, shuffle her back into your deck, call another guy to replace her. So you're getting an additional 3k boost to 2 rear guards, and still getting the 3k boost from having a rear guard in the thing. It uses extra cards in your hand, but it puts an extra trigger into your deck, which gives you an extra attack if you reveal it on a drive check. And obviously, last but not least, we have the 4 heal triggers. There's no explanation needed there. Onto the stride deck, we have the obvious 4 Regalia. This card is just ridiculous. I mean, even me as a Sanctuary Guard Dragon player thinks this card is just too powerful. I mean, it's not a counterblast, there's no persona flip involved, there's no generation break. It literally is just during the turn. If you have a heart card with Sanctuary Guard Dragon or Sanctuary Guard in its card name, your entire front row gains 3k for each grade 1 or less rear guard you have. That's a 9k boost for discarding a grade 3 to your whole front row. It's just ridiculous, but I'm not sure how it's going to run once the new stuff come out, so like Sanctuary Guard Arc and then the new Stride. However, how many of these you would run, or if you'd run them at all, but you probably would because it'd be silly not to, really. 2 Saint Blow Dragon, obvious reasons. It's a big attacker and hits for an extra critical. But if you don't know what it does, is choose a face down card named Saint Blow Dragon and Persona Flip. He gains 3k for each Royal Paladin rearguard currently on the board. So if you use his skill and say you have 2, he gains 6k. He will not then gain 3k for any additional Royal Paladins played after that. He's a Generation Break 2, because if you have 2 or more face-up cards in your strike G-Zone, he gains an extra crit. So he hits for big numbers. The maximum you can get up to is an extra 15k boost, and he hits for 2 crit. So he's a really nice card to have. Unfortunately, I don't have the Altmar Stride, so I can't be running that. But I do have Altmar, Samuel, and the one of Garblade. Samuel I really like. I think it's a really underestimated card. I think I said this in my last deck profile as well. What he does is Counterblast 2. When he attacks a Vanguard, if you have 5 or more rear guards, you deal your opponent damage if they're on 4 or less. So he's a nice way to get your opponent to that 5th damage to then force them to guard, because they might, like, you go attack. It's like, okay, I'll let that one through. You know, if you get a crit, you get a crit. But you know, you go, okay, skill, deal your damage. Now, if I get a crit, like, you basically die, really. And then you've obviously got the one Garblade, which is on hit, called a grade 2. So he's just there for, like, getting your twin swords or whatnot. I very rarely go into him. Like I said, if I had the Altmar Stride, I'd replace these 2 for that. So, but yeah, that's my deck profile. That's Sanctuary Guard Dragon. Sorry about not having the other Sanctuary Guard Dragons. I'd use them. But yeah, you get the general idea. Like I say, give the stand triggers and the Starlight Unicorn a try, and I'll catch you guys later.